Welcome to the Your Energy First podcast, where we talk about all things your intuition, developing your spiritual gifts, and if you feel the call, to turn them into an incredibly creative business that the world needs. Welcome back to part 5 of a 7-part series of grounding in the 2025 energies. Now, I have been doing these practices myself. I have had many of you reach out to me and let me know you are doing these practices and that it is bringing up emotions to be released. And one of the things we need to normalize in energy work is that when we expand, when we ascend, when we do light work, energy healing work, that is so wonderful. And we also are having a human experience that is very shadowy. And you and I, we are also bringing emotions, memories that are cooped up within us that we're not aware of from other lifetimes and other experiences. So we want to make sure that we look at ourselves as a whole being of shadow and light. And any aspect where you fear something in yourself, even if it's outside of you, that's a fear within yourself. Or if you're thinking, gosh, this is too frightening, I want you to always remember to come back to your light. When you come back to your light and ask for help from there, what you're doing is you're going to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spirit team. You're going to source energy and saying, please help me. Please help me. Please help me process this. Now, the more you and I do this work, the more we become grounded in supporting and loving ourselves. The more we become aware of what we're capable of. You know, I'm bringing up shadow work right now because when this episode drops, it's going to be December timeframe. Now, maybe you listen to this at a different time. That is absolutely fine. Always listen to your own intuition and gut on timing for these things. You know that there's activations in every single one of these sessions. And when they're meant for you, they're meant for you. End of year, from a Gregorian calendar perspective, and in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the winter season. This will be around the winter solstice. It is a time for introspection. It is a time for cocooning up, for going within. And when I think about my experience in the world so far today, from the perspective of an American, I'm more acutely aware than ever of how our society is really good at the highlight reel. We're really good at the highlight reel. We're really good at projecting onto other people, well, if I'm going to learn from them, they better be perfect. And what that's really doing is that's ricocheting back to ourselves and saying, well, I can't show up because there's no way I can show up perfectly. And when I say show up, what I'm talking about is in any aspect of your experience. It could be as a partner, as a professional, as a practitioner, lots of P words there, as a parent, as a really fun friend. We'll bring in some other words there. Where are we not allowing ourselves to just land in us, land in ourselves? This work continues to blow my mind at the layers it goes. Notice I didn't say depth, it's layers. Because as we expand higher, our layers and our awareness go deeper. Things come up for us to reflect. And when we reflect and we go to our light and cherish ourselves, that is when things process through and transform. And that's how these energies really land. Imagine you wanted to build a home, and the old home, let's say there is some plumbing experiences that weren't great, and just as a whole, the house needed to be completely redone. You wouldn't want to build your new home on the old home. Maybe you decide you're going to renovate and you're going to fix some things. You're going to bring the wiring up to current standards. You're going to reassess the foundation and reinforce it. That's what we're doing with energy work. You're not going to put a brand new house on top of an old house. That would be silly. And the same goes for you and your energy. So there's this invitation. So, of course, I hold space for all these, and as I'm listening to this guidance that's coming through, and I can now connect the dots at a human level. By the way, this is what holding energetic space is. You want to learn self-trust, learn how to hold energetic space. I'm going to be teaching that a lot in 2025. And it's a really, really powerful thing. So now what we want to do is we want to take a look at coming back to ourselves and saying, okay, as I fully embrace and witness myself. When I say witness, I mean we're really grounding in and getting comfortable with this is who I am. This is who I am. This is where I'm at. And this is very third eye correlated, because part of what they're saying here is people can't perceive as much energy as they want to or as they have the ability to, because they ultimately fear themselves. That's a mic drop moment. That is a mic drop moment right there. When I look back and reflect on the immense growth I've had over this last decade and a half, it's been long. It's been long. I feel like I've been walking backwards blindfolded on this trail. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because I've been healing the old, trusting myself and my intuition, bringing forward in a new way. So it would make sense that I wouldn't see the road ahead. One of the things that I can tell you with absolute certainty is the more we can know what is our energy, know what feels good and feels right for us, that is going to be the game changer in your life. 100%. All of the past 10, 15 plus years of deep unseating and relearning to trust myself, everything comes back to what is my own understanding of myself? How do I understand me around friendships, romantic partnerships, family, alcohol, sex, money, career, creativity, health? Did I forget anything? The home, energy work, what else? Our planet, all of those things. It all comes down to, how do I understand myself? Where have I been making choices in a certain way up until this point? What is my truth? And how am I creating moving forward? Notice how it all comes down to your energy first. Have I told you guys this on the podcast? When I was young, I was in my teens and I was in college, and I would read all of these books about quantum physics, manifestation, angels, things like that. And I remember I would waver. I so distinctly remember this. I would waver between, oh, I can create my reality. Oh, that means I'd have to be fully responsible for myself. Nope, that's very freeing. Actually, that's quite frightening. Nope, I want to believe that aliens don't exist and God has a plan. Jesus take the wheel, which, by the way, I think Jesus is an incredible helper. And I want baseball and my Catholicism, and this is the road. And I'm never going to say that that road is wrong for anyone, by the way. It wasn't for me, long term. And you're also not going to hear me speak ill of religion, because I think it has a place in our world. Do I think all aspects of religion are positive? Of course not. Do I think all aspects of spirituality and the way humans bring it forward are positive? No. So let's all be real here. Like, we're going to look at this from a very logical framework. So all of these activations and what they're doing for your chakras, for your energy centers, is they're opening them up, and everything is grounding you further into yourself. Also, each of these activations are going to help you layer by layer. So you may say, well, I want to go back to this heart activation, and it's going to help guide you into your next layer. Which, by the way, I just saw the movie Red One. It's a Christmas movie. It's PG-13, not for the kiddos. And if I was someone who took edibles or did things like that, I would recommend that because halfway through, or not even halfway through, it's like 30, 40 minutes in, all of a sudden you're like, well, they're getting very creative here. And don't we like that? We do like that. And the reason I don't do that stuff is that it never agrees with my body. My body does not like that stuff. It never, ever has. I can count on one hand how many times I've done drugs and enjoyed it. It's just, I've never liked it. Okay. So, and I'm talking about like good drugs, not the really nasty stuff, obviously. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want a perfect energy healer practitioner that's never sinned before? Ain't gonna be me. Ain't gonna be me, my friend. So let's look at this in the fact that the red one, if you've seen it, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you, there's a lot of energy alluded to throughout that entire movie, which I loved because I was like, this was written and made a while back. And what they do is, in order for the bad guys to have power, they don't need like Santa's scroll or his sleigh. They need his energy. They need his energy. That was the most valuable thing. And this love energy has been coming in so powerfully these last few years. There is a channeler who I've really enjoyed watching, and I do not promote channeling at all. I'm not someone who teaches channeling. I actually don't think it's entirely healthy. And channeling is kind of like if you and I both were to go lift weights. I could lift weights totally wrong and you could lift them totally right, and we'd have two different outcomes. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about channeling, okay? And part of what they have said is how the heart energy will be the new currency. And I loved it because I was like, this is exactly what we have been talking about for the last few years on this podcast, is going into your heart's wisdom. Your heart has wisdom for you. How freaking cool. How freaking cool. And when you go to that wisdom is you. It's all the versions of you've ever been, who says, hey, I'm here. It's your soul whispering to you and saying, I know what it is we know and how you can use it to help yourself and help others. Okay. So as we open up layer by layer and we begin to guide ourselves deeper within ourselves, I'm going to invite you, because this is a third eye activation, to really, really consider with this one, reflecting and looking at yourself. You know, when you think about the third eye, and our third eye is how we see with our imagination, it's how we see and perceive energy. We think we're going to look around the room and have all the answers. And instead, what all of this is bringing us to, closer to, is bringing us within ourselves. The universe is within ourselves. Love that we desire to experience in this world is within ourselves. It will never be in a place that is out of reach. So how do we really cultivate this within ourselves and learn how to be the observer? And the guides are using this term. I love it. The instigator of love, the instigator of the light, the instigator of the heart. How can we now be in this place where we are saying, okay, if I want to meet someone romantically, or if I want to create an intuitive business and I want it to be successful, whatever you define success to be, how do you start? By going within yourself and saying, how do I cultivate this light, this energy, and this feeling? This is what we're going to be focusing on in the Aligned Creator. You're more than a manifester. You are an aligned creator in all aspects of your life. So I want you to go into your heart space now. And it's bringing us up from our light and our heart to our third eye. Now, for a lot of us, the third eye is between the eyebrows, but for some people, guess what? It's a little bit higher and it's a little bit lower. Isn't that funny? You would think chakras would just kind of have a main, this is where they're at. But no, where is it for you? Where is it for you? So as we start by going to our inner light, hello inner light, I set the intention I am connected to my light, my source energy, and my higher self for my highest good. I set the intention I receive exactly what it is I need in this activation. Please run divine balancing source energy through me. Maybe you use a term like love or divine healing or wisdom or balance. Or maybe you're like, geez, I just really feel like a green energy needs to come forward. Cool. And allow this energy to settle in, supporting you. It's actually working on our third eye right now, too. It's funny because the energy from the movie that was around Santa as the bad people were taking his energy, it was green. There's a few different colors and one of the main ones was green. I was like, oh, that's the heart energy. Who knows if that's what they meant, but that's how I interpreted it. So now we're going to say, I hold energetic space for myself for my third eye. Already, you might feel a flutter, a slight density or heaviness. I call the highest version of myself forward right now. May I land in myself. This is really powerful. It's actually connecting the front and the back part of the chakras together and doing this healing activation right now. That I now fully see, understand, and observe myself. That I bring forward this new energy with a lightness and a joy. This is where, in the beginning, as I was holding space for this activation and conversation, the guides talked about when we have our shadow to bring our light to it to heal. And by the way, it's not as if your light is going to fix something right away. It may transform an energy, or it may take time. It may take time for you to heal. I was thinking about how Thanksgiving is coming up, and the old me would have gone and done a crazy hit workout. There was Thanksgivings, you guys, where I would burn 1,000 calories working out that day so I could enjoy the Thanksgiving meal. Are you kidding me? I mean, how silly. And I realized the way that I feel approaching Thanksgiving now, I'm just chill. I'm like, oh, I'm going to enjoy some food. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm still going to get my movement in because my movement is so good for my mental health and my energy, as we all know. I've healed that part of me. That did not happen overnight. That took years. And sometimes it was deeper work, and sometimes it was more lighter and effervescent work. But I always brought light to myself. I saw myself. I saw myself for who I was. And our third eye activation is going to help you do exactly that. In all of your beautiful glory, by the way. And how cool that you now are going to have a greater perception of all of you, light and shadow. This means you're going to be bringing more healing to those parts of you that are ready. The neighbor's dog just goes, yeah, ruff. That's right. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So as I'm holding space for this right now, and pets are coming forward, pets have had a really heavy job for a really long time. hundreds of years, they're saying. And it looks like in the next couple of years after that, pets' jobs are going to be a little bit lighter. Interesting. That's very interesting. The other thing Spirit's showing me right now, you know how there's like rock tumblers, those machines where you put a rock in and it rolls it around for a really long time as it smooths out? But it does it in a short amount of time, whereas nature is going to smooth out a rock over a long period of time. It feels as though we are going into a quicker time frame to smooth ourselves out. So if things have been feeling like they've been taking a really long time for you to progress, to heal, to get clarity, I see a lot of movement in these upcoming months is what they're calling it. I just checked on the timeline. They said upcoming months. Very cool. Okay, there is a gorgeous, rich purple energy coming through. This is universal energy. This is beyond the universe. It's like what created the universe. What is the wisdom that runs and manages and helps universes coexist? I always love that. We've got multiple universes. Who has time to think about that? What am I having for dinner? I don't know. Multiple universes. Life, right? Okay. So we're allowing this energy to settle in, and I want to bring you back to your light. The power of you, the power of your heart space, the power of your interconnectedness with everyone who listens to this podcast, with everyone around you, with all of your family, with the birds outside, with the insects. I had to rescue a worm today, and it was the second worm I rescued in about a week. So I was like, okay, let me look up worm energy. Don't you love it? The universe is so funny. I call in divine balancing, healing, and resolving energies. This energy is very resolute. This is a very revolutionary. That's the opposite word, not the opposite, a different word than resolution, but you get the idea. It's that turning, the wheels are turning, and you are powerfully co-creating with it. So thank you for being here, and thank you for doing that. If you want to join the Aligned Creator, you can. Information is here and on my website. We've made so many updates to my website in the last few months. Really excited for everything that's coming through. And if you are ready to bring your intuition, if you intuitively are ready to create more services from your work, but you want to do it in a way that honors your intuition and the masculine structure that carries it out, carries your creativity through, Prism is going to be for you. In Prism specifically, I show you how to create services and offers that match your unique energy, how you're going to grow that business to 6 figures and multiple 6 figures. The first 6 figures is grind. It's that you're in the machine. It is such a valuable time. It's most difficult to get to your first 6 figures. It's much easier to grow from there, but that time is so valuable. It refines you. It refines what you love. It clears out old patterns around work that you're trying to bring into your aligned work. Yeah, nice try. I tried that too. Don't worry. You're in good company. If you are going to make money off of being yourself, you've got to heal your money wound. Yay. That's exciting though. And don't worry about healing your money wound all at once. It happens in phases. Okay, the other thing that the guides have been dropping in is making millionaires and multimillionaires out of intuitives. I'm really excited for that phase of the journey. But for starters, we need to get y'all's energy into the space where you understand it's safe to show up and be seen for exactly who you are, and that your gifts matter and that they matter to a lot of people. That's how our world is going to change. So if Prism feels right for you, information is here. You can also reach out to me at emilymarie.energy. Okay. Really, really beautiful work. This third eye activation, there's that lightness to it again. It's almost like when something is in jello, it's kind of what this energy feels like, what it's done to our third eye, which I really like. Because when a lot of work has been done to an energy center or a chakra, whichever you want to call it, sometimes our energies need extra tending to while the energy allows itself to cement in. And that's what's happening, which means we've done some really cool, beautiful work. Thank you so much for being exactly who you are. I love walking this journey alongside each and every one of you because that's what we're doing. No matter what stage we're at, we're walking this together. And as I mentioned, you can find me at emilymarie.energy. Do not be afraid to reach out, engage. Let's have some fun along the way. Till next time.